we have some coffee here, please? It's all lispy to me. Everybody's lisping at me. I don't want to get into that just yet. I'm like lisping the whole day long. Lispy, 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 lispy.
Damn good coffee and hot.
It's damn good coffee and hot. What the hell day is it? It's Wednesday, June 1st, 2022. Good morning, people. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. Summer is definitely on its way. I thought it was here. Well, Memorial Day is the unofficial start of summer here. And yesterday, just bizarre day. Because when I went to the bank, I actually had to leave the house yesterday, which shouldn't happen. I went to the bank around 12 noon yesterday, and it was 93 degrees out. And at 6 p.m., it was 66 degrees out. It's a pretty big drop while the sun is still out. So it's a very weird. And now this morning, it's 57 degrees here right now. So big temperature drops in a very strange time of year, and downpoured overnight, and it's all good. Giving you the weather report. Good morning, folks. It's a beautiful Wednesday. I hope you're having a great day wherever you are. Today at 10 a.m., Dee Watson will be with me, a comedian out of Harlem, New York. We haven't had anybody on from Harlem yet. We've had a few New Yorkers on, mostly from the other boroughs, not Manhattan. So looking forward to meeting Dee. Dee's relatively new to stand-up comedy, I believe. Going to have to end the show a little early today. I'm just giving you some advance notice. I have a barbecue at a nursing home I have to play at 11:45, which means kind of have to end like 10:45 just to get there and get set up for it, and rush to get there. So probably going to end a little bit early today, and that's how it is. We're on Gov's Radio, as you know, Gov's comedy podcast. It used to be called Gov's Radio. Now it's just called Gov's podcast. I like it better. I'm going to continue to call it Gov's Radio. Is that okay? Is that all right with you? And I should have started Monday with this, looking at what's at Governor's this week. Governor's Comedy Club, of course. We're part of that network now. We might as well look at what they've got going on this week, and we'll do that right now. At the Levittown location, what is this? Tomorrow night, we have All-Star Comedy Show. And you never know who's going to show up for that. Yeah, they don't have who's listed for that. You never know. It's kind of like potluck, but probably going to be a good show. And it's only $14 general admission. And the show starts at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Doors open at 6:30. John Mulrooney is there. Thursday night. Is that Thursday night? The third? No, that's Friday night. Friday night. I'm a day off. And then Dom Herrera, it's a special event, is there on Saturday night. And stand-up showcase Grand Theft Comedy in the Giggle Room, also Saturday night. So that's what's going on in the Levittown location. Let's check Bohemia. You never know. So I would continue to check the websites for Gov, because things change. And like the Louis C.K. shows that happened a couple of weeks ago, those were spur of the moment. Things changed overnight there. So this is Bohemia. This doesn't look like Bohemia. Oh yeah. Okay. Marty Caproni is there Friday night at McGuire's in Bohemia, which is part of Gov's. And John Mulrooney, who is over in Levittown on Friday night, is at Bohemia on Saturday night. McGuire's in Bohemia. And so that's what they have going on this weekend. And the one more location, Belmore, the brokerage. Brent Pella is a special event. What that is? What tomorrow night, Thursday night, uh, and then Dom Herrera is there Friday night. Dom Herrera, of course, will be at the Levittown location on Saturday night, and then Marty Crap. Excuse me, Marty. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. Marty Carponi will be there on Saturday night. Stand Up Showcase Gateway Comedy Presents is also there uh, on Saturday night. So that's the weekend at the brokerage and governors all the governors locations. Please check them out. And again, check out their website govs.com to stay abreast of what all the changes might be. Let me remove that. I can stop sharing right now. Yeah, so going to be playing a barbecue for the old folks today. And as I kind of mentioned last week, and I'm going to have to end a little bit early here today. As I kind of mentioned last week, it's always a battle to get motivated to go to these things and go perform for the old folks at home. But at the end of it, it's always I always feel great. So it's kind of a struggle to say, "Oh man, I gotta end the show early, get my stuff together, drive down there, and go play for the old people, and play the songs I don't really love." And then get a bad attitude about it. 3 or 4 songs in, I'm enjoying it. People are happy and smiling and bringing some entertainment and some joy to people who don't get out, who can't get out, and are pretty much hostage in their own homes, kind of. And so by the time the hour is over, it just feels great, and I want to keep going. And I expect that again today. But right now, I'm in the midst of, oh man, that's a drive. It's a hack. Happens every time. It's like a cyclical thing. What's going on in the news? Well, this we're still talking, and I'm surprised by this, but not so disappointed to be still having to talk about the news of last week. But I did predict we would be done before this week started, and it's still going. And that's a good thing that the discussions are still happening. But let's face it, folks, um, nothing's going to change. Nothing is ever going to change. We're going to go on and have shootings and all this stuff. And there are people who just really, really, really want to hold on to the status quo, no matter what, at all costs. Hang on to the status. Afraid of change. That's what we're talking about here. Change in the way we live in America, and that frightens people. And so, as long as there are enough people who are completely frightened by the prospect of change, things aren't going to change. They'll resist. Rogan is still trending because of what he said on his podcast a couple of days ago about we need guns to fight tyranny. Now and I pointed out how silly that. You're never going to have enough guns to fight the United States of America's military. Look at Waco and how that worked out. Never going to happen. And you're never going to have enough to deal with that. So the idea that we need guns to fight tyranny, good luck with that. Good luck with that. But you're not gonna defend your freedoms. If the United States government wants to come in, they're gonna come in. Ask Ruby Ridge, ask Waco, ask any of those incidents. They want to come in, they're coming in. Um, so there's that, and then there's the other part of it. Like, hmm, do we have any references from history that show people and how change happens without guns? Do we? Oh, wait, we do. Uh, Little country with about I don't know 97 billion people. I don't know how many people it has. India was once held by a country, an empire called the British Empire, and didn't like that. They didn't like that. That's what they considered tyranny. Uh, we don't belong holding a country pretty much hostage. How did they fight back? How did they win their? How did they defeat the British Empire? How many guns did they need? 0? Did you say 0? They did it without guns. And this goes back to what I've been saying all along about how warfare has changed in the last 100 years. You can't occupy a land by force. And so this idea of paranoia that if we don't have guns, the United States is going to just turn into a fascist dictatorship and tyranny, that might happen, but then people will resist. And people will resist without guns. You can't hold a country without holding hearts and minds. That's just the way the world works now. And Britain learned that lesson in India. And the United States, if we had no guns, would learn that lesson here. If they tried to, you know, and let's face it, government has pushed its limits. And the way they push their limits is by getting us to accept things like 9/11 is a justification for letting them spy on us. And we used to have the Fourth Amendment used to be an important amendment. Those, protects us against search and seizure. We gave that up. We gave that up pretty willingly after 9/11. And both parties, left and right, both of them agreed to it. I don't want to get too all political here this morning. I always do, because everything comes down to politics in this world today. But the idea that we need guns to protect ourselves from the United States of America military force, it just can't happen. Just can't happen. They got better to have a box cutter knife. And let's face it, let's go back to that. 19 dudes with box cutter knives versus the world's strongest military. You don't need guns to ward off tyranny. So Rogan is still trending on that, and that will probably go away pretty quickly. He'll say something stupid about something else and be trending about that before long. I trust in the stupidity of Joe. Florida man. This is an interesting story. Florida man found dead in Gatorfield Lake near disc golf course. You know disc golf. I found out about disc golf through somebody who I interviewed on Mind Dog TV. Never heard of it before. Apparently, it's a very popular sport, and what it is frisbees. You're throwing frisbees like on a golf course. It's kind of silly to me. It really is. And if you're a disc golf fan, I mean, no disrespect by that, but it seems like a silly made up sport. Might as well play golf, or might as well play frisbee. But to mix the two, it seems ridiculous. Now they have the holes are like these cages you got to throw the thing into, and the courses it's good exercise, I guess, if you want to do it. But so man found dead in a gator-filled lake near disc golf course. His frisbee went in the lake, and there were plenty of signs: "Do not swim in the lake. Don't go in the lake. Alligators in the lake." But he had to get his frisbee back, and so he went swimming to retain his frisbee, and ended up alligator food. Police say a man died searching for frisbees in a lake at disc golf course where people are warned by signs, beware of alligators. The unidentified man was looking for frisbees and other flying discs in the water, and a gator was involved. The Largo Police Department said in an email Tuesday, man who died was 47 years old. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission said in an email. The commission said a contracted specialist was working to remove the alligator from the lake, and efforts will be made to determine if it was involved in the situation. No, you think? The park's website notes patrons can discover the sport of disc golf on a course set in the natural beauty of the park. The course is set along the lake, which also has no swimming signs posted all along it. Now, police are telling people to avoid the lake while the investigation continues. The Wildlife Commission says there have been no fatal alligator attacks in Florida since 2019. Wow, that's surprising considering all the idiots we have in Florida. Now, here's something that just I believe I should check this out before I say it, shouldn't I? Should I? Uh, I'm going to. Oh, I can't even type, man. States with most electoral votes. I think I'm gonna find out how many where Florida lies on this, but I think they are third. Exactly what I thought. Florida is third with 29 electoral votes, equal to New York, and probably by the next election they'll probably have more than New York because more people are moving out of New York and moving into Florida. So, with all the idiots we have in Florida, Florida is deciding our presidential elections more and more every cycle. Something to think about when we hear about Florida man news, and just how crazy and stupid. Sorry, people in Florida. I don't mean everybody there, but that you sure do have more than your share of stupid and crazy. Because almost all these stories, or a great preponderance of these stories about imbeciles, comes from Florida. Just something to be conscious of as we move towards the next electoral cycle. Yes, indeed. Florida with its stupid people and crazy people. Um, as I mentioned, D. Watson will be here at 10 a.m. It would be great if I could get him to come in a little bit earlier because, again, I am going to have to leave a little early today. Um, and so uh, there's a picture. Now, I don't know what this is. Somebody, Skywatcher dude posted this, and it's on my timeline on Twitter. Uh, it's a fascinating picture. I'll show it to you. Um, he's a sky watcher and takes pictures, photos of the sky a lot, capturing anomalies and cool things in the sky. I'm just gonna preface it by saying that I want to show you this picture. It's pretty cool, I think, but I'm not sure what it is. And maybe you want, if you know, please give me your opinion or ideas about what this is. It's really, it looks like a pink tree with branches going up and all that stuff. And it looks like, I don't know if it could be a cloud formation or what it is. There's no real information on his thread about what it is that he captured. I know the Weather Channel, he said bucket list captured early this morning over Kansas after thousands of hours with TLEs. Finally, a gigantic jet, still in disbelief. It also may be the furthest north ever captured. Lots of analysis to do on this one. That's the furthest north, so, which is Kansas, which again, Kansas is in the southwest. Somebody, there's a KSWX. Um, it's looked like Kansas Southwest X. I don't know. We had kind of a discussion from the other day. I was just bringing it up, but interesting photo. Let's see if I can blow it up a little. No, I can't. Oh, there it is. Very cool looking thing. Now, what is it? I don't know if you know. Please let me know if you're in the chat room. I haven't even checked the chat room yet. Anybody over there? Or just talking to myself this morning. Probably more likely the case. Stop sharing. Yeah, nobody's in the chat room. That's good. So I guess all the traffic was in is where? It's on Facebook. Oh, Well, most of it's on Facebook. I think we have a couple of people on YouTube and some people I guess that could be Govs. Anyway, uh, good morning, Kelly in the Southwest. Well, that was not too far from you, I guess. I mean, just across the state border where that pink tree that went into the sky was this morning. Did you see it? Probably not. Proud Boys are trending this morning. I find that pretty interesting. The Proud Boys were denied entry to a Trump rally after Trump sent them VIP guest tickets. The reason is they were wearing Proud Boy shirts, and I guess, and I don't think this is a Trump thing. I think these are people who work for Trump who are just getting the PR people and the people who run the campaign, just getting a little nervous with all the guilty pleas and convictions of Proud Boys in the January 6th stuff. It doesn't look good, knowing how much they were involved in January 6th, for the president to be aligning himself closely with these people. So even though he sends them VIP tickets, he doesn't want them wearing shirts at his rally identifying who they are. Got a little bit of a wheeze going on there this morning. Yeah, oh yeah. But so they're blowing up at the fact that they show up with VIP tickets, sent by Trump himself, supposedly. You're invited to, very important person. Come on down. Oh, you can't get in, not even with VIP tickets. It's kind of bizarre, but you have to change your shirt and dress like a normal person. And it goes for Proud Boys and QAnon people. Uh, with people like Stuart Rhodes and the Oath Keepers and all those people just completely covered in the guilt of January 6th. It doesn't look good for a presidential candidate to be associated with him, especially when he's trying to say that they were acting on his own and he didn't incite them. So I just find that funny and amusing, and what goes around comes around. That's definitely it. Bisexual is trending. Let's see what that's all about. I don't know. I'm going to find out right now as I read. Why is bisexual? Oh, this is Pride Month. Is June Pride Month? I don't know. I'm guessing it is. I think it might be. Good morning, Mike. Good morning, everybody over there in the chat room. Yeah, I think it's Pride Month. King Richard Starr and I don't know how to spell that name. How to say that name? Unjuno Ellis speaks her truth about bisexuality after wearing queer on her Essence Awards suit. Okay. Pride exists because of a black bisexual trans woman who was a sex worker that threw a brick at a cop and started a riot against the state. Her name was Marsha P. Johnson, and that's what started the Pride movement. Well, that doesn't sound like something to be proud of. I mean, think what you want about anybody's sexuality and all that stuff. Throwing a brick at a cop and starting a riot, the, that's not the way to go. Protest is one thing, but throwing a brick and starting a riot, not exactly something to be proud about. Um, so yes, it is Pride Month, and that's, I guess, why that's trending. Anyway, I have no problem with anybody doing whatever the fuck they want in any bedroom or wherever they do it, in a car or where people have sex. I don't really give a fuck what anybody does with their privates, especially when it doesn't directly affect me. You can do whatever you want. But parades and stuff and um, all the demonstrations, I'm not sure how effective they are. I don't say people shouldn't do them if they think that's going to work or get them to where they, as long as it's peaceful and you're not throwing bricks and starting riots, I think that's fine. You can do whatever you want. It gets a little much to see everywhere you look what people, no matter what it is, we now want to have parades and riots about it. And to me, I don't know how. Again, I don't know how effective it is, and the displays. I think they probably maybe maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm rethinking as I'm speaking, but I think there's a good chance. There's some chance, half a chance that maybe a lot of the extra displays and all of the ceremony and demonstrations and all the stuff that goes on with it actually furthers the divide. I don't, you know what? People don't necessarily get up in arms and start looking for a fight until somebody demonstrates, and that's kind of the way it is. Anyway, so there's that. That's what's in the news today. Looking forward to talking to D. Watson at 10 a.m. I don't know if Kiera's going to be with us today. I hope she is. Haven't heard from her since yesterday. She's not necessarily. She's got babies, and morning can be a tough time, especially if you have babies and they're up at night and all that kind of stuff. Little kids, and they can wear you out. So we'll see. Hopefully, she'll be with us. Again, yesterday was touch on the crazy weather here. Yesterday was 93 degrees by noontime and 66 degrees by 6 o'clock at night. Uh, I'm barely awake, but morning, friends. Good morning, Cat. Uh, by the way, I should play some of Cat's video, especially the Vera Lynn song. Um, we'll meet again. Some. Yeah, I can't even. I'm having senior moments with the Vera Lynn song, which everybody in Copeg should know about because that was trending for years on Facebook. Has anybody heard from Vera Lynn? She said we'd meet again some sunny day. And Kat did a wonderful rendition of that song yesterday. Hey, I have a new follower named Yucky. Good morning, Yucky. um, what was I talking about? Who knows? Um, I mean, before I got on the stuff with Kat's, just the demonstrations, not necessarily um, helping the cause for Pride Month, and I'm not going to get on a big thing because people start saying I'm anti alphabet soup people. I'm not. And again, I don't care what anybody does with their sexuality in any way, especially if it does not affect me. Um, so that's that. Now D, who will be with me at 10 a.m. today, probably. I'm not sure he even got the message. D is from Harlem, New York, and looks to be another person who was starting stand-up comedy a little bit later in life. And I say a little bit later in life, I mean past 30. It generally, I think, to be amazing, to be a star in comedy, the younger you start, the better. And yesterday, Trevor Nutt was 21-year-old and is starting in college. I think your chances are much better if you start at that age. It becomes more and more difficult to there's the whole thing. Well, what do you really have to talk about at 21? Listen, I think I was a lot funnier at 21 than I am now. Uh, this monkeypox is driving me crazy, folks. Uh, but experience is one thing, and you get a wider palette to paint comedy from as you get older. But I don't think that we've seen some of the greatest comedians who we've ever known who started really young, and it gives you the time to that by the time you're 30, 35, 40, you've honed your craft enough to be a master at it. So when we see people like Richard Pryor and George Carlin, I know those are the names that always come up when we talk about the masters in comedy. Um, Anybody like that, anybody who's on that level, and there's several people like that. Um, they started young, and it took several years, sometimes a couple of decades, to really get to mastery. So if you're starting at the 40, mastery can't come all that quickly. You're gonna be my age before you hit that. Nobody wants to go see a dude my age. I don't even want to see a dude my age. Uh, Kelly's covered in monkeypox. Where did you go? Where did you get your monkeypox from? Yeah, having sex in a bathhouse. You're celebrating Pride Month a little bit early before this. Uh, yeah, well, I'm barely awake myself. If in case you know, I did watch the Norm special. You want me to talk about the Norm special? I'll say this. Well, I'm going to be a downer here. I'm sorry. I love Norm, and I love the part. I love where Norm is giving us a preview of the special that would have been if he had lived, and the special that Netflix had intended him to do. He was just going through the material, sitting at a desk holding a microphone. I loved what he was saying in there, and I think Norm was a gift to humanity. I feel like the next part of it, where you get the friends sitting around memorializing and just, I I know that what happened was they had a memorial for Norm, and his friends were all there, and then they said they wanted him to talk about it. Now, obviously, Conan was leading that whole thing. Dave Chappelle was there. The girl from Saturday Night Live, I don't even know. I don't even remember her name. Dave Letterman. Well, I'm leaving some people out. But they're talking about their David Spade, of course, reminiscence of Norm, and it felt to me like a money grab from Netflix. Not from any of the people involved. I think they were uncomfortable feeling like they had to do that on camera. Now, that's a discussion that Molly Shannon, thank you. um, that's a discussion that should naturally happen without cameras there. Cameras change everything, and I just feel like Netflix did not have to put that out there. They could have just put out the Norm part about it, and it's could have just put it online for free for everybody, that people who don't need a Netflix subscription or anything like that. If it was really to honor Norm and just give the world one last piece of Norm magic, it just feels like, you know what, let's see if we can milk some more traffic out of this. Felt like a business decision to put that out there, especially with the memorial thing attached to it at the end. It felt hard for me to kind of appreciate it for whatever good that might have been intended there. Again, I love the Norm. I love just listening to Norm talk to a camera. I could do that forever if given a chance. But I did feel like somehow it was about business for Netflix. Felt a little bit contrived. And I know that's probably not the consensus. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, it was great." And it is great to have something extra from Norm to hold on to. I'm not a big fan of that part of capitalism. And I know business is business. There are people in suits making these decisions. Um, but anyway, Mike says, Reels is doing to Eddie Van Halen, his son Wolf is bad mouthing Reels on Twitter. I did not know that. I'm gonna have to check that out. Posthumous stuff feels like a money grab. Yep. Yeah, I agree. Wow, I thought I would get killed for saying what I just said. I thought because I know. Listen, there's so much love for Norm that yeah, it was great, I thought, and a lot of people had that. They watched the special and thought it was great and enjoyed it, and I did too up until the point where they started because I know I've heard David Spade talk about how uncomfortable it was, and most of those people didn't know they were gonna be doing that. They were invited to a memorial to speak about Norm, and then they were told there's this thing he did from his living room, and they were kind of told to watch it and presented with it, and they weren't expecting to do it. And then they say, basically Netflix kind of sprung it on them that okay, we're going to put microphones on you, put you in a room, and kind of force you to talk about your memories of Norm. And that to me, yeah, that feels like Netflix exploiting a world's love for a guy and I'm sure all those people in that room would have had a much healthier conversation about their love for their friend without the cameras. Television cameras, video cameras change people's behavior. And then we have so much evidence of that. And people are not the same person. Look at me. I'm in front of a camera now. This is not my natural personality. This is not my natural way of being. It changes people. So it's a difficult thing. I'm getting blocked on not seeing the bottom of the chat. I hate when this happens. Uh, Netflix is not a company high on morality. I don't think any companies are high on morality. I don't think that, again, I'm not an anti capitalist. I understand business is business. And if you're in business and you're in business to make money, right? That's the sole goal. Um, so I'm not necessarily singling out Netflix and saying they're an immoral company. They have a they have a duty to make money for their stockholders, right? People who and I got to be honest here. I am seeking out angel investors as we speak for the nighttime program. And if that happens and I get some investors, I will have an obligation to try to make it monetarily, financially lucrative for them as much as possible. And will have to work hard, a lot harder than I do now, at making money with it. That's what happens when you sell part of your company. When you offer a piece of your company to investors, you're taking their money to help build the product. But then once you build the product, you owe them a lot of effort to try to make as much money as possible for them because that's their incentive for investing in you. That's the way capitalism works. Like it or not, that's how it works. So I don't fault Netflix as a company for doing that, but I can't. There are people wearing the suits making those decisions that feel dirty to me. It feels dirty. But Norm was beautiful. I love the his ability to talk to the camera like he would talk to David Letterman or talk to Conan in those interviews was really inspiring. It felt like, even though you could tell how sick he was, you know. And here's the thing: Norm was 6 months younger than me, and he was not on my radar, and he didn't really. wasn't on the American radar until he was 30 years old. But he had been doing comedy. He graduated high school, I think, if I have this correctly. He graduated high school at 14. Norm, a really smart guy, and knew what he wanted to do, and started doing comedy very young, 17, 16, but didn't make it until Star Search. I think he was a runner-up on Star Search in Canada. And then his first network television appearance, he was 30 years old on Letterman. So we didn't have him for all that long. But if you look at those original network television appearances, Norm was skinny as a rail. Skinny as a rail. And physically, you can see him change in a lot of different ways throughout his career. And you don't notice it as it's happening. But obviously, and it's been said now that he's gone, that he had been battling cancer his entire life. But and I'm not even sure what it was, stomach cancer or liver cancer or whatever it was. He seemed to have many physical differences in his life, different appearances. He went from extremely skinny to kind of chunky, back to skinny again, and in this final thing, you could see he's kind of deteriorating and falling apart, and we didn't notice it. When he died, everybody was shocked. Oh, Norm, we didn't even know he was sick. But the evidence was there in front of us the whole time about how and his voice. When he first came out, he was all really energetic and really higher pitched. And as he got, and it's only over a span of 30 years. It's not like it's a long period of time where he became more stoic and less animated from what he was. Look at some of his early stuff, and it did not compare to the person he was later on in life. So we should have known. We should have known something was up. But I guess maybe when you love somebody that much and appreciate what they do that much, a lot of that slips by. You don't notice those kind of things. But coming back to my wrapping it up, I guess, on this whole special thing, loved the fact that we have an extra piece of content from Norm to hold on to. Just I wish they would have left the memorial stuff in private and not had that part of it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Love Norm. I got to see him once at um, live. I saw him once live in New York City, and then I was at one of the David Letterman tapings when he was on that. I think that was like 97, 98. Um, but always a huge fan of his, and love the fact that he never felt like he had to write new material to be able to tell new material or to be funny. Like he would go on those talk shows with nothing prepared, but he was a student of old comedy books and stuff like that, and had lots of joke books, and could take a basic the Polish sausage joke or the moth joke or any of those things and make them into a story, a long form piece of comedy that was truly all his own on the spot without rehearsing it, without pre-thinking it too much. It was all spontaneously done, writing gold comedy in the moment. Uh, Craig said, appreciated the special, appreciated the post commentary as well. Well, I get that. I definitely get getting the insights of people who love them. But you know, maybe I was pre-colored. My experience was pre-colored by hearing David Spade talk about how uncomfortable it was and how it was forced. That definitely could have colored my perception of the entire thing. Um, is he hype man Craig or Craig the marketing director for well, really just for well, not just for a couple of things and for issues with Andy and Billy Wayne Davis, the marketing director for them. Uh, William says he met him in 2003 at Dave and Buster's. He was very nice. Dave and Buster's, never been there. Yeah, surprise? All the fat jokes about himself. I don't remember that. Fat jokes about himself. I don't remember that. But no, Dave and Buster's, never been there. I'm not even really all that sure what it was. It was like Chuck E. Cheese for adults. Is that a good way to describe it? Anyway, thanks for being here, folks. It is going to be a very short day for me here today. Uh, if you're just joining me now, I have a barbecue to play for the old folks today, and I have to be there by 11:45, which means I probably have to wrap this up. Uh, um, Towards the end, he was what, fat jokes about himself? Okay, I gotta find that stuff. Um, I know a lot of self-deprecating humor, and again, with Norm, I believe, and I don't think I'm wrong about this. I mean, there are lots of things I doubt myself. I hear myself saying that, and do I really know that for a fact? And I don't know this for a fact, but I have a strong belief that Norm was genius level smart. That he graduated high school at 14, and that's the stuff that I'm unsure about. Now, what I'm absolutely positive is he relished making himself look like he wasn't all that smart. He loved that. He loved playing the dumb guy. And I think there's even quotes of him saying nobody wants to go see somebody in comedy. Nobody wants to go see somebody who's all that smart. They want to feel like they're as smart or smarter than the comedian. And that was his perspective on it. I don't necessarily agree with all of that. I enjoyed George Carlin. I enjoyed people like Doug Stanhope, who I think every time I saw Carlin, I thought he was smarter than me. Every time I see Stanhope, I feel like, and Billy Wayne Davis, I feel like they're smarter than me. To a degree, Andy too. I think Andy has uh, a genius, a genius, um, idiot savant. I don't, please. I'm not insulting Andy in a way, and I don't mean to be insulting about him. I think if Andy can be a clumsy genius, a guy who has great insight, but sometimes can just like I don't know, have lack focus. I guess in with his genius. I don't know if I'm articulating that correctly, but I do feel like Andy's a funny kind of genius. He has a great wit about him, great insight into things, and very different perspective than many of us do. Um, but I know, like on issues with Andy, he kind of comes off as not as smart as he is. Maybe he's got a little mix of that Norm stuff. Because Norm intentionally played it up that way. I don't think Andy's intentionally playing it up that he just he again, I think it's probably lack of focus. Just say savant away and take the idiot and you're good. Really? Oh, okay. I did not know that. Is that the way it works? I just don't say idiot. uh what, Dave and Buster's describing it as a Chuck E. Cheese for adults? Again, never been there, but that's kind of my impression of it. What do I know? I know nothing. Uh, if you're trying to nap, this is the perfect place to do it because I will bore you right to sleep. So, good morning, Becky. Uh, uh, Go to sleep. Um, just talking about the Norm special. Have you seen it? Has everybody in the chat room seen it? We were discussing the Norm special, and as I am given to do, um, probably have a unpopular opinion about the special. Chuck E. Cheese serves beer. I did not know that. I didn't listen. We don't even have Chuck E. Cheese here anymore. It was a big thing when my son was a little boy. I remember that, but I haven't seen a Chuck E. Cheese in decades here. I don't think we even have them here anymore. Uh, so good and sad. I wonder if that's the general consensus of it. That's sad because memorials are not meant to be sad. They're meant to be a celebration of the person. And again, I think my opinion of it, my experience is colored by the fact that I heard David Spade in an interview, or actually on his own podcast with the church lady, that Dana Carvey, talking about how it felt forced, how they felt like they were manipulated by Netflix to do this powwow afterwards and talk about Norm. And again, I feel like cameras, video cameras, whenever you put video cameras on people, it changes their behavior, changes their personality, not always in a like super negative way, but there is a touch of phoniness that comes through on anytime you point a video camera at somebody and they're talking like now. Uh, and they're not their true personality that would it's not the same as if the cameras were off. And I felt like that I've said it enough times already today, but I just felt like that was probably cold and calculating on the part of Netflix. I understand why they did it. I'm grateful to have the extra piece of content for Norm. That's my final word on it. But I'm glad everybody enjoyed it. Uh, I'm not fond of Chappelle or Letterman. I liked Chappelle for a long time, but I feel like he's trying to be an activist sort of. I never liked Letterman. I agree that, and I've said this several times. I don't think Chappelle's alone in this. I think that we've seen this. I think, and I blame Carlin. I blame him, but I I respect him and love George Carlin, but I blame him for influencing a lot of comedians to want to be more like him. And as his career progressed, he became very professorial. And I think a lot of comedians see that as a natural evolution of where they should take their comedy, especially guys who do those kinds of really big rooms in theaters and arenas sometimes. It feels like that's probably where you should go as you get older as a comedian. Maybe I'm overstating this, but I've said this long before Chappelle started doing it. It felt like Colin's influence in that a lot of guys who were really, really funny, they get to that point in their career, were past 50, where they start not caring so much about being funny, but having a voice and opinion about what's going on in the world and trying to have influence. And I'm not sure that's a bad thing. We all want to have influence in some. That's why I do a podcast is to have some influence. Last night's program was on MindDogTV.com was very indicative of that kind of stuff, where I want to encourage people to think for themselves and that kind of stuff. So I think wanting influence is a natural thing for people, but I do think part of Colin's legacy is that we see more and more comedians want to be want to give lectures instead of comedy shows as they become old like me. And Colin started, but it seems like Kelly says Colin started it, but it seems like it just flows that way. Yeah, and I'm not sure. I said again, it could be a natural thing to, as you become an old man or an old woman. You don't see too many women doing it. As a matter of fact, I can't think of one woman who has done that. Joan Rivers, as she got old, she's the only one I can think of, a lady that I can think of who was still doing comedy when she got old. Well, Roseanne is, but Roseanne's just batshit crazy. Funny, but batshit crazy. Um, but Joan Rivers, she was still telling jokes and still trying to keep it as funny as possible as she got older. You don't see a lot of women feeling like they have a natural evolution into elder statesmen, elder stateswoman. uh, Phyllis Diller was just a clown until she got old. I had a kid, Joel Miller. I call him a kid. He's probably 40. 40. But he was a kid to me. He was a roadie for uh, rock bands. And, so he was roadie for a lot of big time rock bands in his youth, who became best friends with Phyllis Diller in his 20s. Phyllis Diller was nearing 90, I guess, at that time. And he had lunch every day with Phyllis Diller. Now, I didn't find that out till the end of the interview because I would have loved to make the entire interview about, and his book is about the book he was promoting was about being a roadie. Like, dude, you need to write a book, My Lunchtimes with Phyllis. And just that, that to me is a super interesting thing because the fact that Phyllis Diller would befriend a young man in his 20s and become really close friends with him. That's a surprising thing right away. Um, anyway, how did I get started on? Oh, we're talking about Colin and Becky's comment about liking Chappelle, but in the beginning, but uh, he's trying to be an activist, sort of. Yeah, activist is Mort Saul, Robin Williams, Hicks, Whoopi. Bamford is Maria Bamford. Is she? She doesn't seem to be. I get all. I think all this group here. It doesn't seem all that consistent. Mort Saul was always politically an activist. I think he saw himself more as an activist than a comedian. Always, and that Um, I think he opened the door to people like Colin doing political stuff. Robin Williams had a message to say, but he always was thinking about fun. He never did the lecture thing. Colin did the lecture thing. Chappelle is doing the lecture thing. Hicks, I don't think ever did the lecture thing either. He was, and I get that they all had a educate, illuminate type of slant to their work. Whoopi? I don't know. I don't know about Whoopi. Never been a big fan of Whoopi in any way. I never thought she was funny, and I never really think she's that insightful. Now, it's just my opinion. It's not. I'm not saying that. But Maria Bamford, does she really? Uh, I can't. I can't think of her in the same light as I think of like what Chappelle's doing now and what Colin did. I just don't see her as that. But I definitely get what Becky's saying about Chappelle feeling like he's become an activist. Letterman, on the other hand, she says you never like Letterman, and which is very. You know what? When I first started doing My Dog TV, and I was reaching out to comics, every single comedian who looked to be on the program described themselves as comedian / mental health advocate. And I always, what the fuck is mental health? There's no such thing. There's because I don't think there's a mentally healthy person ever born. I don't. That's just my opinion. Again, I'm just stating my realities here, my truth. I don't think any of us. I don't think there's an example of what mental health is. We aspire to this nirvana, this place called mental health, where like it exists. It's this destination out there that we can arrive at. Nobody fucking knows what it looks like because it's never been seen. It's almost like a religious thing, like heaven. Mental health is like heaven. It's a thing that's out there, but nobody's ever seen it and can't really describe what it looks like, and it's a really difficult goal to attain. Anyway, but so I think a lot of comedians think of themselves as mental health advocates. I think it's part of why you become a comedian. You feel like, "Yeah, I feel a little broken. I feel a little broken. I feel a lot broken." Tell you what makes me feel a little less broken. Coa coffee. Coa coffee in the morning can make you feel mentally healthy. It's part of the appeal of coa coffee being the best coffee in the world and all. One sip and you start to feel a little more mentally healthy. You can check it out right now. The link is in the description. I am a terrible pitch man, aren't I? Anyway, Christina says, Whoopi gives me the ick. All right, I'm with you on that. Yeah, I was going to talk quickly about Letterman. Kiera's with us now. I'm going to bring her in a minute. But Letterman was a goofy weatherman in Indiana, and he went out to be a stand-up comedian at the Comedy Store. That was his destination. So he went directly from Indiana to the Comedy Store with. I don't think he ever wanted to be a stand-up comedian. He had the complete intention of going to the Comedy Store to get noticed so that he would have a talk show. He always in his back of his mind wanted to be the next Johnny Carson. And so I think he was kind of made for that role, and never was. I would never, even though I know he started at the Comedy Store along with Leno and Altman and those people in the 70s. That was never his intention, and I can never think of him as a stand-up comedian, even though that's where he got his. That's not where he got his real start. He got to start doing weather back in Indiana, but that's where he went, and that's what got him noticed. Um, Most of it was very clean comedy, and I'm not a big fan of very clean comedy unless it's done absolutely flawlessly. Not necessarily a fan of it, so that's what I'll say about that. Let's bring Kira in, and she can try to get this grumpy old man to be a little less grumpy. Let's try that. Want to try that? This will help you get to sleep, Becky, because she's yawning. Maybe her yawning will help you. Good morning, yawn
Good
face.
morning. Good morning.
Yes. What are you doing later?
Why?
I'm going to Luxor to play a barbecue. I have to be there at 11:45, so I have to be set up by 11:45. So I'm going to have to end a little early today. But thought maybe because I'm playing outdoors barbecue, you know, if you wanted to stop by, have some fun. I don't know.
You want me to crash the party at Luxor?
Yeah. Why don't they love you there?
Yeah, I'm still bitter, but I could maybe I could show up. I'll think about it.
Uh-oh. What?
Yeah.
Bad blood between you and Mikey? You hate Mikey?
Oh yeah, I hate him.
I could understand that. Well,
What
I'm
are
a
you
little.
sick? You
No,
sound
it's
clogged.
allergies, man. It's that time of year. Very sinusy.
Sinusy. I get it.
Sinusy. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm
Sinus.
keeping the coffee beans behind us today. I like the coffee beans.
I like the
for
coffee
music.
beans.
I'm a little upset with Mikey. Still
Why?
over Sunday, because he should have been there. He should have come to your party and done that party. Not that the party we did fine without him, but I just felt like what, an hour. He's not that far away from there. It's a 15-minute drive from his house. He could have been there, done the hour, and been done, and gone back to his wife's little outdoor party.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I'm not going to let it linger, but I was a little, even driving away Sunday, I was like, Mikey, that's just not the way to be.
We do a lot for Mikey, a lot of things, and we've done free parties of his, and and there's a history because.
You want to hear history?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I want to make this a short story because it's a very long story about how me and Mike, and I wrote a song, "You Stab My Back and I'll Stab Yours," about Mikey.
Oh no.
You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You stab my back, I'll stab yours. The band, I was in charge of the band when we started the band. It was my band. Mikey was the lead singer, of course, but I chose all the music. I picked the musicians. I picked the songs, all that kind of stuff. And then when I had got hooked up with this young girlfriend, the owner of the club that we played most at wanted the girl that I was with. And when I hooked up with her, he did not like that. He got extremely jealous and said to Mike one night, well, her mother got in a little bit of trouble with the bouncers, and he saw that as an opportunity to say, I don't want them here anymore in the club, and told Mikey, you can't play here anymore if Matt's in the band.
Wow.
And Mikey said, okay.
Oh.
Right. And he called me up. He said, listen, you're not allowed to play at Water Lilies anymore, but we're going to get another guitar player and play there without you. But they still wanted to do gigs with me every other place that we played.
Wow.
And I was like, Mike, that is the most disloyal, backstabbing piece of shit move I've ever seen in my life. That's his true colors.
Wow.
Yeah. So I left the band for 2 years, and that was a big part of it. So it's still it's never going to leave me. I forgive, but I don't forget. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I did write an awfully bitter song about it. You stab my back, and I'll stab yours. And he can't stand hearing it. Maybe I should play it.
We should play it one day together. I'll do harmonies.
Wow. But yeah, so it doesn't surprise me that he didn't show up for your party with that in mind. But he still should have been there.
Yeah, it's all right. You rocked it.
Right.
Everybody had fun. They enjoyed themselves.
I had a Florida man story that I shared. Now, it was not happy news before you got here this morning. A Florida man playing disc golf. You know what disc golf is? Like Frisbee. It's like golf and Frisbee combined. You're throwing a Frisbee down the golf course, and then the idea is the hole is like a cage with a slit in it, and you got to kind of throw your Frisbee in that. It's like golf.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So in Florida, there's this lake alongside this disc golf course.
I know where this is
and
going.
The lake is filled with alligators, and there's signs all over the place that say, don't go in the lake, alligators. Yep. And the guy's Frisbee went in the lake, and he had to go get it, and he got eaten by an alligator or killed by an alligator.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Florida, man. And so just looking at it, the amount of idiots and stupid people in Florida is just overwhelming compared to the rest of the country.
Wow.
It's a scary thing because Florida has the third most electoral votes. California, Texas, and then Florida on the electoral. So they elect the stupidest people in the country, the craziest people in the country have a big say, the third biggest say in who becomes the next president.
Wow.
And by next election cycle, it could even be second. That's how many, because people are moving to Florida. People are moving away from every other state, or most of them.
I wish I could move to Florida. I don't care how many stupid people are there. I would go in a heartbeat.
Really? What part of Florida would you go to?
Oh, I don't know. I lived in Jupiter. I lived in Stewart. I lived in
The only
West Palm
part I would
Beach.
go to at this point is Islamorada. Islamorada.
What?
Islamorada. It's in the Keys.
Oh,
It's 80 miles from Key West.
I was thinking of the Keys, just somewhere at in the middle of nowhere,
Yeah.
nice and hot. But I
William
don't know.
says disc golf is a stoner reset button. Well, it's easier. I don't know. You don't need clubs. You don't need all the. A frisbee's pretty cheap. You go out and buy a frisbee for what, $5, $10. I don't know what they cost, but cheaper than buying a whole golf club set and all that kind of stuff. And it's the same exercise. You're just walking. That's basically what.
I've never heard of it before, but
Yeah.
apparently it's very dangerous. So
What, disc golf?
yes.
Yeah. Well, if you're gonna go in the lake, it is. I'd never heard about it until I
Yeah.
interviewed a guy who was a disc golf. He wrote a book and he's a professional disc golf player for 30
Oh
years.
wow.
He's in the Disc Golf
Okay.
Hall of Fame. And I was just like blown away, like, wait a minute, this is a professional sport? I'd never even heard of it. People pay to go watch. People buy tickets to go watch disc golf. Professional.
To watch some guy throw a frisbee into a slot?
Yeah.
Oh. But then again, people pay to watch some guy hit a small ball into a hole.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I would prefer to watch that over golf because
Becky's
golf
in
is very
Florida.
boring.
Becky's in Florida. She said, Florida is so humid, I'll trade you. I heard New York is expensive, though. New York is extremely expensive. Way.
And
it's
humid.
insane.
We get humid too.
And humid. We have the humidity. Yesterday, it was just the weirdest day ever. It was 93 at noontime and like till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and then 66 by 6 o'clock at night. And by nighttime, I know people who went to a Met game last night, and they were probably walking around yesterday in the heat in 93 with 90% humidity, thinking,
Right.
I'm going to go to the Met game tonight, go in a T-shirt, and then they were in the upper deck when it was 57 degrees late at
Ooh.
night. You know?
Right.
Yeah, that generally doesn't happen. Heat waves don't come and go within a couple of hours. Generally, it's a couple of days.
I have a story. I have a story about that. I was very mad yesterday. My daughter's softball, she was supposed to have a game yesterday, and all the parents got on the little group chat and were very concerned about the heat because on the news there was a heat advisory. But the game was at 6 o'clock. So I said, you guys, it's not hot outside right now. It's not deathly hot, first of all. Second of all, it's going to go down at 6 o'clock. You think that it's going to stay 96 degrees and humid at 6 o'clock? You guys stupid? And they canceled the game.
No.
But they canceled the game.
It does.
And,
If it's 90 degrees at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it generally is going to be 90 degrees at 6 o'clock or 88 at least or something up there. But
yeah, but the sun's not going to be blazing.
It was 30 degrees less. Yes.
Right. The sun's not going to be blazing on your heads at 6 o'clock.
True.
And, it does get a little cooler in the evening. And so I said to them, well, what are you going to do in the middle of June? So I kind of couldn't bite my tongue. So now all the parents hate me. But at the same time, I was walking around at 6 o'clock and we were cold. We went to the beach. We were freezing. So ha. So what?
I know.
I just
it was extremely hot in my house, and I was thinking it was still hot outside. And then I went out at 6 o'clock. I said, wow, it's nice out here.
Yeah. So they canceled the game for no reason. And I can't stand the parents. I really can't stand the parents there. They're just like little snowflake children, babies. So
yeah.
My daughter really wanted to play, and
you were right and they were wrong. Let's call them up.
Right.
Do you have a number for me to call?
Always
I'll call
right.
them.
1-800-softball. They're so annoying.
It sounds like our friend William is a disc golfer, and he's kind of I don't know. He says very head clearing, and then he says watch some competition clips on YouTube. See the top players hit crazy shots. I guess he's a fan of it.
Oh, okay.
Disc
I know
golf.
that they're having a cornhole competition sometime in June.
Wait, what is that?
Cornhole is where you throw the cornhole is where you.
What I think of when I hear cornhole, I think of Beavis and Butthead. Cornholio.
Yeah.
Beavis, yeah.
Yeah. No, they throw the beanbag into the hole. And it's in
I did
the
not know.
board.
I did, and they
Yes,
call it cornhole. Why corn?
cornhole. At Venetian, they have the cornhole set, and my kids always go there and like throw the beanie bags across the get the
I've
beanie
been in
baby.
I've been in the presence of cornholio and not known it.
Yes, the great cornholio. Yes. Yeah. So there's a competition, which I would not watch either. So
Cat called me a dirty old man. It's not what you think. Well, I
it does
thought of
sound dirty. It does.
it.
Sounds like you got a little piece of corn in your cornhole or something. But,
That's what it sounds like. And that's what and because the only reference I've had to ever heard that word is with Beavis walking around. I am a cornholio.
right.
So what do I know?
That was the greatest Beavis voice I've ever heard. That was great. I like that.
So last night on Mind Dog TV, I had a guest who wrote a book about disinformation, and we live in the age of we live in the post-truth era, and he's talking about how disinformation is spread. And so I raised a question, and I'm gonna put this out there to the chat room and to you and to anybody who cares to think about it. Is truth subjective, or is there? I would like to think it's just my natural tendency to want to think there's right and wrong, there's real and not real, there's fake and true, but it seems like more and more we are moving into a place where that's not the case. It's your reality is what you believe in, and that's real to you. Then truth is subjective, and so it depends on who you are and what things you believe in that make the truth. What's your take on that?
If you look at it from that philosophical standpoint, you could say that, but I do believe there is a truth to stand on. There is right and wrong. I think that people are becoming more self-centered, self-absorbed, lovers of self, where they want to bend what's right and wrong. And anyone who doesn't agree with them, they want to immediately shut down and label as disinformation. So I think that there is
I think
truth.
as a religious person, you have to adopt the idea that there is definitely, because I try to put it in these terms, good and evil. Is there such a thing as good and evil, or are we all? Is it all just depending on what your perspective is? And that's a scary place to be, because I think I was born wanting to live in a black and white world, and now in terms of there's definitely a right and a wrong, but it feels like we're living in a world that is pushing that
wrong,
not
the
necessarily.
wrongness, the filthy wrongness.
Yeah,
I know.
Nobody in the chat room is even commenting on it. I think it's too scary. It's too scary a proposition to think about. Can truth be subjective? In other words, if I'll
think
just get
people
ridiculous.
They want it to be subjective.
If I walk around saying I have a full head of hair and that's my belief and it's real to me and I wholeheartedly believe it, I have a full head of hair and
do you identify as a man of hair? Is that your pronoun? Man of hair?
With perfect hair, with perfect, not a hair out of place, just a male model cut. I look beautiful.
It looks good on you. Beautiful. I love it. Yeah. But
I'm wrong. But that's not true. It's not true. But the world, I think, wants to tell me it's fine for me to believe that. And
I think that we should do the opposite of what the world is pushing, because there is good and evil.
Now you're in the Costanza realm. Do the opposite. Just do the opposite.
Yeah. I watched Seinfeld last night. I wanted to tell you, I watched Jerry Seinfeld's comedy special. I think it was his 2020 comedy special, but he did really well for 65 years old. 65. He was 65.
That's what he was, 65.
Yeah.
It's all clean though. He didn't curse once, did he? Not one profanity in it.
I don't think so, but it was funny. I did chuck. He got better at the end. He built up.
Were you a fan of Norm Macdonald?
I don't know who that is.
No, you don't know who? Wow.
Who is that? Wait,
Norm
what?
Macdonald.
Norm?
Wow. Yeah.
Normie?
Wow. You know
Wait,
what? I
hold
shouldn't be
on.
surprised. Mikey didn't know who Norm was either. That's just weird to me. Norm
Let
is
me look at this guy.
Norm might be
Uh,
one of the goats, one of the
he
greatest of all time.
looks. No, I
Yeah.
don't think I know who he is, but he's.
Wow.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry, Norm. What
Norm
is
died.
Norm? What
Norm
is it?
died
Oh.
about 8 months ago.
Oh.
Suddenly, nobody knew he was dying. He didn't tell
Oh.
anybody he was dying. Uh, um, but he was a very complicated man. A very complicated man.
Hmm.
Um, but I just thought you would have known him. But he put out he was supposed to do a special for Netflix right when COVID hit, but he called them and said he was going in for a procedure. Now, he didn't elaborate on what the procedure was, but in case it went south, he said, I don't I don't want to have anything on the books in case he died on the table, I guess he was what he was saying.
Oh.
So basically he canceled the special, but he didn't die then. He was still battling cancer. Nobody knew that he was battling cancer, but he did this thing from his house with a microphone just like this, like talking into the camera. And basically, they put that out as his last special. And basically, he's just telling jokes to a video camera sitting at a desk in his living room. And now we were talking about that earlier this morning. But, that is what it is. But it just felt weird to me that Netflix would put that out. Though I love having the content, but it felt like and one last chance to make money off of him as he was
Oh.
gone. That's what it felt like to me. So anyway, but so I'm surprised, not shocked that you don't know. Some people didn't know who Norm was, but he's one of you would know him if you saw him and heard him. Saturday Night Live, he ran a weekend update. And listen, I never watched the show, but I knew who he was from that.
Right.
Lots of talk shows and all that stuff. Adam Sandler movies, and stuff like that. So anyway, what do you got for us today? Anything cool?
I've been wanting to tell this story since.
Uh-oh.
I don't know if it's real or not, but I guess we can call it real. So
We'll
this
call
is
it
from
real.
Good News Network. Listen to this. Iceland trots out a service that lets horses reply to work emails while you're on vacation. So they show this horse, and he's on this giant keyboard, and he's trotting on it. Okay.
What?
Okay.
Was he?
I thought it was Photoshop, but it says the world's first out-horse your email service is designed to encourage travelers to switch off and take an uninterrupted trip to the country. Using a large keyboard mat, the gaited horses are able to walk, trot, and canter, or pace their way across the keys. How cool is that? And then it shows a typical email, and it's all nonsense. I don't know if you
Gibberish?
can see. Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes me feel a little better because I thought
Yeah.
they were trying to pass off that it was like a cohesive, like dear Joe.
No,
Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
that would be great. Like, did you get that report in? WXY /. Yeah. So
Have you seen the pigs that paint
I've seen the elephant that paints.
elephants paint too? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a video of elephants that paint, but there was a video of a pig that was painting, and his
Oh,
paintings were selling at some art auction for millions of dollars. People were spending money on pig paintings.
wow. People will buy anything for art. I knew
Yeah.
this. I don't know if I knew the woman or I heard about the woman who painted with her period blood.
Oh yeah, I knew one of
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Oh, you know
When
one
I
of those?
Yeah, when I was in the cult, man. When I worked for the cult,
Ew.
I didn't know this until like I was in 6 months. They used to have these drumming ceremonies after like every week would end, and they would have a Friday night drumming circle, and people would sit around and play different drums and all this stuff. And I noticed that all the drums were painted weirdly.
Yeah.
And it turned out it was all the leader, a Native American woman, all her menstrual blood that was painting covered all the drums.
Ugh. Why? Why? We could get hepatitis. What's wrong with her? No.
I never asked why. I didn't. When you're in a situation like that, you don't really want to hear why.
Oh my
Because
gosh!
they were just crazy as a little. There was one time where I was setting up some audio equipment, and they were having this big uh, ceremony, and I was setting up some audio equipment, and the woman who was the artistic director's husband looked at me and she said, "You're standing in a vortex to hell right now." Really? How do I get out? No, I did not notice I was standing in a vortex to hell, but thank you so when you hear, okay, the drum's covered in period blood, you don't really you don't want to ask too many questions.
What? I can't get over the woman that was a gazelle who had to go back into human form.
Yeah, you could have talked to Bill about that. Oh no, you weren't there.
What? What do you mean?
Well, the Saturday gig that you didn't go to, the
Bill
yacht
was
club.
there?
Bill was there.
Man.
Yeah, but he would have elaborated a little more on that. He was there for that whole thing. He was running one of the video. Oh no, he was running the audio board for that whole thing. But yeah, 8 hours in. 8 hours in, she was still a gazelle. And I started the program this morning with a list. I don't know why because my disclaimer, it says the opinions expressed on this program. It's like, wow, I'm talking a little lispy there. The opinions expressed on this program.
Yeah.
Let me play a little of it. Just a really quick one. The opinions expressed on this program are... See? The opinions expressed on this program. The opinions expressed on this program. The opinions expressed on this program.
That's good. See?
I know. I feel a little salivary just saying it.
You might have to touch your clitoris. Your little
clitoris. I left my clitoris at the office.
Make little circles.
Yeah. I'm not sure my guest is going to show up today, which is not a terrible thing, but he's due here any minute. His name is D. Watson. He's a relatively new comedian from Harlem. Ooh. It would not be the worst thing if he doesn't show up because, as I mentioned, I booked myself into a corner and have to be to Luxor and set up and ready to play by 11:45. So give him a few minutes. What you're not in a rush to get away, are you?
No, I did. I cleaned. I just have to do laundry, but that's not a rush.
All right, hang with me for 3 or 4 more minutes. If he doesn't show up, I'll let you go, and then I'll end the program early, and then just make him feel bad for not showing up.
Yeah, we could do that. I thought you said Jackie was going to be here on Wednesday.
No, next Wednesday. It's the 8th. Yeah, he's in Philly, and Jackie is here. Jackie's got a scoop. Jackie's got a scoop. Jackie's got a scoop. Wednesday, June 8th, he will be here. I'm going to talk the rest of the day. I'm going to say, good evening, Luxor.
You should.
But next Wednesday is a good day. We got Jackie in the morning, and my nighttime show program has Matt Foley. You know who Matt Foley is?
Is it Chris Farley's brother?
No. Oh. Matt Foley is a singer-songwriter who he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most songs ever written.
Wow.
But he just got a new album out and a film out, a documentary out. Like he does, like his latest album is Alaska, and it's all songs about Alaska. Then he has one about all 50 albums about all 50 states. But he has like poop songs, the poop song with your name in it. So it goes through every name and write a song about poop with your name in it. Or if you like, Google happy birthday and come up with any name, different happy birthday song for every name in the book. So that's his thing, is quantity of songs that he pumps out. So he's a good friend of Brendan Walsh, who's a comedian friend.
Okay.
And so he should be on next Wednesday, but talking about his prolific songwriting music career.
Okay.
More songs than anybody. I don't know what he paid to get in the Guinness Book of World Records.
You have to ask him.
Yeah, I plan on that. But I think ridiculous number of songs. 30,000 songs. That's
wow.
A lot of songs, all right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I thought about that, like, you know what, because if you're putting them on YouTube and each one is getting monetized, and so if you have, just a song with every name in it under the book, and it doesn't have to be a happy birthday, it could be just a song about that person's name. I could probably pump out a lot of songs, and each one of them would get hits for that reason. People looking up,
right, smart.
Yeah.
I wonder if he wrote the song "Up Butt Coconut" because my kids can't stop listening to that
Coconut?
song. Up Butt Coconut.
Let me see.
It's always in my head.
Butt Coconut.
This is what they listen to. Everything's about butts and poop with them. So.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like it could be. No, by Nathan Mazer.
Darn it.
Yeah, but a lot of his videos look like that.
Oh, the cartoon stuff?
Cartoonish, yes. Like, so, he does a lot of the happy birthday stuff and all that stuff. Perry Grip song of the week. Yeah. But if usually I put Matt Farley and see what comes up here. Matt Farley. Oak-Tone Media, there he is. Doesn't have exactly how many songs. Matt Farley is an American filmmaker, musician, and songwriter who has released over 23,000 songs as of February 22. That was before he started doing the state albums. So as of earlier this year, it was 2022. But I think he does like probably 100 songs a week, something crazy like that.
What?
Yeah, he's crazy. Yeah, but you know what? It makes a living at it. And so I take my hat off to him for that. Matt Farley makes over $65,000 a year from just doing these songs. That's not a bad living.
Wow.
It doesn't cut it in New York, but he's not in New York.
Right.
Here it says, how one man makes over $65,000 a year writing songs about poop. Have you ever been bored and started randomly dicking around on Spotify just to see what you could find? The majority of you probably have, and have even heard of a man named Matt Farley. He goes by many names, over 700 names, and has over 22,000 songs. This is a while ago, many of which are about poop, pee, and things of similar nature.
Sounds very accomplished.
I pooped on Santa's lap, the poop song, poop in my fingernails, poop, 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 poop song.
Wait a minute, I know this guy. Can you play one of his videos? I feel like the girls watch this guy. Let me see.
I don't
the
want
poop song.
I don't want to play him because he'll end up demonetizing me. They'll knock me off.
Hold on, I'm gonna look really quick at the poop song. This guy, I want to give him a piece of my mind.
Why? Because your daughter's addicted to poop?
The poop song?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's too many of them. I don't know which one it is, but they watch these cartoons. They're just really vile. They're just, you could see the poop. I think that the poop under my fingernails. I feel like I know this guy.
Yeah.
I want to let him have it.
Well, tune in next Wednesday. So Jackie will be here in the morning Wednesday, and then he'll be with me that night.
Should I scream at him?
10:03. I think it's safe to assume, because Dean never answered me when I sent him his login on Sunday. So it's safe to assume he's not going to show up, don't you think?
Well.
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I don't feel terrible, but I mean, I always want to give comedians some exposure and all that, but I did paint myself into a corner with time constraints here today and wasn't really going to be able to do a long one. And this way you don't have to come back for a second appearance, and your day is free as of now. So things are looking up. Things are looking up.
Born free. Oh, all right.
What?
Never mind. We'll talk about it next time.
What, you want to sing? You know what? I didn't get a chance to do this to the guy last night, but we were talking about this information, and I wanted to do this. I wanted to say, so basically what you're saying.
Question everything.
I don't know. I really enjoy doing that, but I should have done that to him, but I don't think he would have taken it in the right
He might have been very angry at you.
I've been like, what the fuck? What's with this show?
It's beautiful.
I'm trying to sell books here.
Hey.
Yeah. And so, you know, it was a very interesting program. If you have a moment, go back and listen to. I try not to talk about politics or you know, get all political on the thing. I think the guy might have been. It's hard to judge, but I think he might have been a guy who just loves his guns, and he did even say that he has guns, he enjoys shooting them and all that stuff. But I didn't want to go down that whole rabbit hole. But we did talk about this, and I think this is part of the problem in politics, where no matter what party you belong to, no matter where you stand, right or left, we want like one easy solution and one simple button that we can push to say we're going to fix this problem.
Right.
And often, as in life, as in everything that we all deal with, sometimes the solutions are more complicated than that. And I think most people, if they take a common sense approach to when we see tragedies like shooting, there's a lot of elements that go into it. There's the mental health stuff, there's parenting, there's easy access to powerful weapons. All those things need to be addressed in some measure as a comprehensive, or you know, not just we just take guns away and that will cure it. No, that's not going to just cure the problem. Or if we just open up mental health facilities, this will all stop. No, you can't just pick one thing. You got to kind of take elements from a lot of different things. And I do come back and to the idea that parenting is probably the most significant element in this, in my view. I think
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Too many people, and it hits home for me especially well since my son died at an early age, and I felt like I let him down as a parent. That too many people have children too young, immature, without realizing how big a job and how important that job is.
Right.
And I think if we can hammer home that message, you know, and I hate to sound like, you know, one of these far right crazy guys who's saying all we need to do is restructure family and get back with family values. I think parenting has to be, if you're going to be a parent, you have to commit to it as nothing else matters as much as being a parent. No other part of your life, no part of your job, no part of what you do matters as much as the job that you voluntarily took to be a parent.
I think that I agree with you 100%. I agree. I also would go a step further and knock down the feminist movement as well, because just because some women want to work and have a career doesn't mean that, you know, you have to make it impossible for women to stay at home and actually be mothers. I think a lot of it stems from that as well, where both parents are not home, working like dogs, trying to make ends meet, and they don't have time to dedicate to their children. So,
Yeah, I think that's a societal thing that happened long before the feminist movement, though. I know my mom, because my mom she was a worker before there was a feminist movement. And so I came home from school every day to an empty house, even in kindergarten, though. And in first grade, I would come home and the house would be empty.
Me too. Yeah, it's
probably
hard.
Probably not a good way to raise kids. Is letting
I got in a lot of trouble. My mother was never home. I didn't have a father, and we could do whatever we wanted. No one.
It's amazing I didn't burn down the house and kill somebody.
Me too. Yeah, but it's just hard, you know, that women are built differently. They're made to nurture and raise their children, and are, you know, it's very hard to be a stay-at-home mother, especially when I did stay home with my first child, I was ridiculed. I was made fun of and, you know, mocked that I didn't have a career, that, you know, I had nothing going for me. So I think that there's a lot of pressure on women to do something with their lives, when being a parent is probably the most amazing thing you can do.
I would agree that women should have that option, and I think Anybody who says, "Oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom," again, they're taking parenting way too lightly. They think,
Right.
"Oh, that means you just get to watch soap operas all day." No,
it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Have you ever babysat? Because I remember every time I was with my son alone when he was small, it was nervous breakdown time for me. It's like, no, don't touch that. No, don't do this.
Right.
It was constant 24/7 running around trying to say, no.
Yes, exactly. And even when they get older, my neighbor upstairs, she stays at home, and her daughter's preteens, and it's nice that she's home because the pre-teenager, she hangs out with all boys. They're always getting into trouble, so she's home and able to catch things before they escalate.
Right.
Because they'll just run around the community and graffiti or do and she's there. So it's nice that she's there, so I don't have to yell at kids like I always have to do, like a Karen. They call me Karen, but
Yeah. Well, that's a big discussion for another. And I'm having on the evening program more parenting experts because I really feel like this is the root of a lot of our problems in society today. Is this whole idea of we forgot how important parenting is and all that stuff. But it's a deep discussion, way too deep for the morning show here. But I definitely want to have more of those discussions with people. I don't think I'm going to have any like real positive changing effect on the world by that. But again, if it's always about just, you do what you can, plant seeds, and whatever grows.
I like that. Plant the seeds.
Yeah. All right, we're going to end the program early, so I'm going to let you out right now, and then I'm going to go get prepared for Luxor. If you can, and you're so inclined, and you want to come up and sing a few songs, that's fine. I'm not putting any pressure on you. You don't have to if you don't want, and all that kind of stuff.
I feel pressured. I don't know. I'll let you know.
Don't feel pressured. Listen, keep in mind that Mikey let you down.
Exactly.
So you don't have to feel any obligation to show up there.
Exactly. I'm bitter.
No, I'm turning people against Mikey today. I want everybody to send Mikey hate mail. Go Michael Shane on Facebook and say something really nasty and cruel to him.
Oh, no. That was dirty. I love it.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, yeah. So that's the soapbox I was on about parenting and stuff. Nothing that we face as problems in society has an easy fix or just one button, one size fits all type of solution. I do think that's a major element in what we need to do to address everything that's going on. Anyway, not to get all serious for you. Hate to end the program on a serious note. So what can I say that's not so serious? I don't know. What's not so serious? I'm going to play some music for some old folks, hopefully brighten up their day, have some smiles. Maybe I should take a video camera. You know what? Hold on. Let me see what I can do to end the program on a really, really upbeat note. Hold on. I think you're going to enjoy this if I can do this. Hold on. Say it with me. Yeah, here it is. This is what I want to do. This is how I want to end the program here. I won't get demonetized for this. I don't think I will. Here. Wait. I want to share this with you. This is a great way to end the program today. Let me see. Share. Now it's a little bit blurry, but the people, it's I think Bigfoot is blurry. Don't blame the photographer. And I believe all the people in this room are a little blurry, so don't blame the photographer here. But I think you'll enjoy this.
Because I don't know when I'm coming back. We'll meet again. Don't know when.
Hey, what happened?
Don't know when. But I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies turn the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again, don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Now I need you all to sing this part with me. We'll meet again. Awesome! Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Keep smiling through, just like you always do, till the blue skies turn the dark clouds far away. So will you please say hello to the folks that I know? Tell them I won't be long. They'll be happy to know that as you saw me go, I was singing this song. We'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know where, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day.
Just beautiful. Just beautiful. Great song, great rendition. Man, who would have thought Kat had that kind of talent? That not taking it lightly at all. That's a really great performance. And I hope you enjoyed it as much as I do. What can I say? Really, really heartfelt. I know I was making some goofy stuff there, but the song is just, it brings that out in me. I love the nostalgic of that song. A couple of guys from my hometown have been Vera Lynn fans for has anybody heard from Vera Lynn? And have talked about that song for ages. It's part of my hometown culture, but I've seen a lot of people. There's a girl on YouTube named Sammy. Oh, I'm not sure. Actually, I don't know if it's a girl. It's some. I'm not sure of the pronouns here. Person on YouTube named Sammy who does a very mellow version of that, but that's a stunning rendition of it. And our friend Kat, we appreciate her. I hope you guys appreciate that as much as I do. Anyway, gonna let you go now. I'm just gonna remind you I'll be back tomorrow, and hopefully my guest tomorrow will show up. I'm gonna see if I can make D. Williams feel a little bit bad about not showing up today, even though I'm relieved that I don't have to rush him off air. But anyway, I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, Coffee with the Dog and Gov's Radio and all that kind of stuff. I just want to remind people to turn on their radio.
I me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me.